Have you got a penis fact?
I have got a penis fact.
You have got a penis fact. Revelation.
I've got a jumper on that's got a little bit of alpaca and wool in it, and it's ever so slightly itchy.
Alpaca. Might that be our weekly animal penis fact? We'll find out. But first, we need to start this goddamn podcast. Previously on the David Eagle podcast.
I'm going to wait outside for you, spit in your face.
Hey, did you know you can fly by train now? Absolutely brilliant. It's really comfortable, apparently. Wind your pussy, wind your pussy, wind your pussy down. Pussy down, pussy down.
My breasts are as big as mountains.
Leave that chicken alone, mate. Oh. It's happened. It's happened. Anyway, it's the David Eagle podcast. With me, David Eagle.
And me, Ellie Skinner.
Yes. Many people now listening might just think that the podcast is essentially just a series of noises.
They wouldn't be that far off.
As most of that essentially was there. But some wonderful moments, I'm sure you'll all remember exactly where you were when you first... Well, you were on a swing, weren't you, Fiona? But we know that much. Noises is very much something that I am familiar with because as you know, Ellie, I was booked to perform at the National Onomatopoeia Society's little conference that they had. By introduction, I was very proud of, Ellie. Ladies and gentlemen, boings and gurgles. and then I stuck around for the party afterwards. Obviously, it was in Bangor, of course. That's where they have it. Where it was a brilliant party. We had quite the hoot, as you'd expect, and we cocktails, of course. The only cocktail we were allowed was, of course, the woo woo.
Yeah.
But we did partake in some poppers as well, which we shouldn't have done. I was humming and hawing about it, which they were quite happy with. Actually, they enjoyed the humming and the hawing. But they said, "I'll have the poppers." And in the end, I did succumb to onomatopoeia pressure. But anyway, they did say when you're taking these, David, you've got to be mindful of the side effects. Oh no, they said sound effects. Sorry, I now just realised. But then, well, obviously we got the munchies afterwards, Ellie, as you'd expect. And so they handed around the pork sandwiches, which of course came with extra crackling. Then there was the music began, and we had Wiz Khalifa, we had the Bangles, of course, Crash Test Dummies, we had Bucks Fizz, we had the Boomtown Rats, and then a DJ set from Fat Boing Slim to finish things off. Now, many people, because it was a fortnight since we did the podcast last, and many people think we don't mind, David, if you're going to only do a podcast every 2 weeks, which is what you seem to be doing at the moment, because clearly, if you're going to come out with this kind of quality, we can't expect a podcast every single week. Can you keep it up, David? Well, that's a very personal question, but we'll find out as we continue this podcast. Also, Ellie, in the previously moment there, it wasn't just noises, of course. There was a little bit of you, and this is, of course, when you were talking about the altercation that you had with the homeless guy who he'd said this line here. Not the previously on the David Eagle podcast, obviously. On the David Eagle podcast. Oh. And I hope he didn't say that as well. This bit here.
I'm going to wait outside for you, spit in your face.
Which, when I was putting that together, it worked quite nicely, rhythmically, Ellie. And so it's made me think, now we've heard Ellie Skinner rap, I think there's big things in the offing for you, Ellie. I could imagine you doing that rap on the Tim Westwood show.
It's a new era, baby. It's your boy Westwood. We're doing up real right tonight. Pay attention to this record. It's going to be important.
I'm going to wait outside for you, spit in your face, spit in your face, spit in your face. I'm going to wait outside for you, spit in your face.
Damn, that's the way it goes down.
Yes, Tim Westwood's a fan of that.
Excellent.
So I think there's a calling there. What I'd really like to do is I'd like to do a podcast. I think you could do a podcast poem, because if you think we've said so much on the podcast, there will be things that obviously will just rhyme. It'll just be made up from previous little bits on the podcast. So maybe that'll be a challenge. Maybe for next week, Ellie.
Yeah.
Maybe for next week's podcast introduction, I will try and get all of the lines on the previously on the David Eagle podcast. I will try and get each line to rhyme with the next one made up. Oh, I mean, I'm just realising how busy I am at the moment.
Quite a lot of work.
Why not? Well, we'll see you in 3 weeks for the next week's podcast, everybody. Maybe for the end of year best of.
Yeah.
That'll be the time we look forward. Anyway, as we often do, we look forward telling you what's coming up on other podcasts. Most of the time we do this, we then forget all about what we've said we're going to do.
Don't do it.
What we should probably do instead is tell you what's coming up on this week's episode of the David Eagle podcast. It's the return of Cassette Roulette. Ellie Skinner, earlier, she put her hand inside my big box. She pulled out a cassette, but what is on that cassette? We'll find out. I recorded all sorts of things when I was a child up until my teenage years, and we'll find out what's on it. I can tell you, I think it's an absolute treat this week, Ellie. I'm really looking forward to bringing that to you. We'll have it over multiple parts on this podcast. Also, the return of Spammer Time, and this time, Ellie, it's me who has received an email, which I'll be reading out for you. We've already talked about this. We've already alluded to this feature, of course, right at the start of the podcast when, before we began, I asked you, have you got a penis fact? Because, of course, it's week 2 of Ellie Skinner's weekly animal penis fact. But what will her penis be? And what will the animal be? And what will we find out about its penis? That's coming up. All that and more coming up on this week's episode of the David Eagle podcast. It's just a little special message for our onomatopoeia friends there. All that and more coming up on this episode of the David Eagle podcast with me, David Eagle.
And me, Ellie Skinner.
So we had a little message from Amore, regular listener, regular contributor, Amore. She sent me a message to tell me that the blind comedian Chris McCausland was doing Live at the Apollo. Now, I haven't watched it, because there's a part of me worried that we might have trod the same ground. Because, you know, the thing is, if he's blind and I'm blind, and we're both doing comedy, chances are there's going to be maybe a little bit of an overlap. And my worry is, because he's now on TV and has made a name for himself, people might just think, oh, yeah, he got that from Chris McCausland. I mean, maybe you could say, well, is it best to know so that you can avoid doing that? But the last thing I want is to find out he's done something on a similar theme to what I've done, and then go, well, that is brilliant material and it's been working all the time. I can't just stop because of that. But then I think it will taint it for me, because I'll be like, at the back of my mind, I'll be like, everyone will just think, oh, he's just ripping off the more popular, the more famous blind comedian. So there is that kind of little worry, I suppose. So I don't know whether it's best to watch it or not to watch it, because when I was on the BBC Radio 4 programme In Touch, which is the programme for blind people on Radio 4, I was talking about comedy on there and being a blind stand-up comedian. Weirdly, actually, because they messaged me to see if I would do it, and I said, I will do it. I'm quite busy because I'm in this place, but have you thought about getting Chris McCausland? You know Chris McCausland, because he's doing TV stuff now. And the producer did say, oh yeah, we have tried him, but he wasn't available. So I was second choice, which is good to know, really, number 2 on the blind comedian list. So if Chris, that's the problem. If Chris was ill, well, they have just gone, well, we need another blind comedian. And I could have done Live at the Apollo. For was it not written in the Bath Echo, the newspaper, when they reviewed my Bath Comedy Festival gig, they said, you'll be seeing David Eagle on Live at the Apollo very soon. Guaranteed. And that was 3 years ago, and it's not happened now. So when I was on the programme for In Touch on Radio 4, I remembered that a few years ago, and this might have been like 7 or 8 years ago now, Josie Long, the comedian, had done a little workshop with the presenter of In Touch, Peter White, the blind radio presenter. He's done stuff on TV as well, I think, Peter White. She'd done a little sort of workshop, and the idea was, for comic relief, he had to come up with his own stand-up set. And so he was talking about being blind as part of his stand-up set. And one of the things he talked about was the fact that a lot of comedians, especially when they're starting out, they'll write their jokes on their hands. And the fact that he reads Braille. Now, I had absolutely no idea he'd done this because I'd never seen his stand-up set. The only reason I was listening to it was I was actually listening to it about 10 minutes just before I was going on air. And I was absolutely horrified because I do that exact same thing. And it's not unusual to think that if two blind people are doing comedy, they'll find something that a lot of comedians are doing, like writing jokes and then reading it from their hands. And they go, well, I can't do that, I read Braille. So that's the problem. And now there is a part of me that goes, if Chris McCausland suddenly started doing that on Live at the Apollo, which to my mind, that's not one of his jokes. I don't think he reads Braille, actually, Chris McCausland. But if he started doing that, he's done it on Live at the Apollo. Now, he could say, someone might say, David Eagle does that joke, but he'd be like, well, I no idea. I don't even know who David Eagle is. So if I went and then did that joke a week later at a comedy night, people might go, yeah, we saw that on Live at the Apollo, the other blind comedian does it, and no one's going to go, oh, it was clearly you first who did it, and he accidentally stole it. So that's the thing, like, chances are, if we're both blind and we're doing comedy, we're going to be talking about the same things.
Yeah.
And so that is a little bit of a worry. But when I found out about the Peter White thing, I then had to go on the air. A part of me was worried that he was going to expose me. He was going to say, oh, listen to this clip, and listen to this clip, and then he's going to play his clip and my clip and go, it's very similar, isn't it? And that would be, I'd be exposed on the BBC.
But also, we know that you sometimes absorb other people's material because you told Tom Wrigglesworth back his own.
Exactly.
nuts,
Well, that's
so
the problem.
You don't want to accidentally absorb it and then.
That's the problem, as we
4
found
years
out on
later.
last week. I retold one of Tom Wrigglesworth's routines to Tom Wrigglesworth. Yeah, so I am a little bit sort of worried about that now, because the more he does TV, the more people will know, and the more he'll have to write, and the more jokes he's going to end up doing on TV, and there's going to be a point where he's going to do something that I've said, and people are going to think it's one of his that I've ripped off. So I am a little bit worried about that. But anyway, I suppose I've got other things up my sleeve now. I don't need to worry just about doing my blind material, because I've obviously got my onomatopoeia stuff. I imagine that'll go down very well on Live at the Apollo. Sorry, Dave, we've had the whole blind shtick now. Have you got something else for us? Yes, I think I have. Put your hand in my big box, pull out a cassette. We have no idea right now what's on it yet, but then we press play, we'll hear what we get. It's time to play a game we call Cassette Roulette. It's time for Cassette Roulette, the feature where Ellie delves into my big box. She pulls out a cassette and we play what's on the cassette. So, as I say, a few hours ago, she has chosen a cassette. I've listened to the cassette and I found some highlights from it, and what a highlight indeed. So in the past, Ellie, we have played at least one song that I have recorded. I'm not sure written is the right word for it, with my friend Matthew. And we were about maybe 13, 14, 15. I think 14 or 15 for this. You remember, of course. Please translate. Yes.
Please translate. Please translate. Please translate. Please translate.
So that was a previous song. Well, I'm pleased to report that we are back. We're back with another song.
Oh, yes.
This song is called Pussycat. You're going to hear this time my friend Matthew singing as well.
Oh.
So it's not just me singing, you'll hear him as well. I'm not sure if this song, again, was written down or if it was improvised, but it's a very quick song, and the premise essentially is that a cat has eaten a bird, and we are appalled by this behaviour, and we're questioning this cat as to why he would do such a thing. This was being recorded, so if I was 15, let's say, 2000. Well, you think it's the millennium, it's the turn of the millennium, things are changing, there's all sorts of thoughts. What's the new world going to be like? And on the cusp of the millennium, we knew we needed to start pushing things forward. We knew we needed to start moving the boundaries, moving the goalposts, and I think we certainly are doing that with this song. Pussycat.
Oh, pussycat, what have you done? You've killed that bird.
I like, firstly, the fact that you can just hear me quietly belching in the background.
Oh, pussycat, what have you done? You've killed that bird.
But the cat was having fun, and it did not say a word. Cat, how could you do that, pussycat? Oh, how could you do that? Could you do that?
Poor little bird, he didn't deserve to die.
Pussycat. That's how could you do that? Oh, pussycat. How could you do that? Pussycat, pussycat. Why did you do that?
That was called Pussycat.
Nose, not the end. Actually, things haven't changed that much, really, have they? We're still blowing my nose. We're still belching. We're still talking about animals.
Yeah. It's good that you've got a theme going on. I'm like picturing a teenage you just being so pleased with yourself doing that and just having a lovely time and just going, yeah, look at us.
Well, in the next recording that you're going to hear, and as I say, we're going to do that. It's on the same cassette, but we're going to do that in a few minutes. We're going to move on to matters of the penis, from pussies to penis.
Oh, dear God.
A lot of people might be thinking now, tell us, David, about the songwriting process. And I can't do that with that song because I don't know how it was conceived. I don't know how Please Translate was conceived because we just pressed record on the song and then we started singing the song. But I'm pleased to tell you that we actually have, on recording, the making of a new song.
Wow.
So you get to hear how the genius is conceived. And at the end of the podcast, we'll hear the song. So lots to look forward to. But from cats, well, maybe it will be a cat. Who knows what we'll focus on as we head to Ellie Skinner for Ellie Skinner's Weekly Animal Penis Fact.
It could be a cat or a rat or a bat or a frog or a hog or a monkey. It might have a penis that's bulbous and fat or a long one, a short one or chunky. An eagle, a weasel, a snake or a shark with a member that's slender or glows in the dark. It might have a willy that looks rather silly or bent and misshapen and wonky. If we were on the radio, this feature might get us sacked. But now it's time for Ellie Skinner's Weekly Animal Penis Fact.
I mean, who would have thought when you listen to that song, Pussycat, we're dealing with the BBC Radio, 3-time BBC Radio 2 Folk Award winner here. Yeah. It's time, Ellie, for your penis fact. Before we do that, though, it's time now to hear some correspondence from other people. Yes. I believe that Carl got in touch with us, and I can't remember what this was about, but I remember Carl getting in touch with us on Twitter.
Carl has tagged you in a tweet underneath one of the QI Elves tweets, and it says, Phalomedusa solidia is a species of snail so called because its penis has many tentacle-like appendages, making it look like Medusa with her snakes for hair.
Oh, we also had a message from Phil.
Okay.
Penis related, but before we get to that, he also sent this. And Phil's really good. He sends voice messages. And if you want to do that, feel free. You can do that via my Facebook page. Obviously, you can just leave messages on Facebook Messenger. You can leave voice messages. And it's nice to hear your voices. Here we go. Anyway, this is Phil's message. And it starts, we've got the penis fact, but we've got something more important before that, Ellie.
I have just made a payment of £60 to you for the podcast, because it's a great podcast which I listen to every week. Obviously it takes a lot of your time and effort, so
of course it does, and that was before Phil had heard the onomatopoeia routine. So anyway, so that's very nice, and of course you can donate as well should you feel inclined. David Eagle davideagle.co.uk is what I was trying to say for some reason. That was just for our special Morse code listeners there.
also, if a barnacle's penis is that many times longer than it is, then surely it's not a barnacle with a very long penis, but it's a very long penis with a barnacle attached.
And that's a very good point. A lovely bit of philosophy there from Phil. But using that logic, I suppose what you could say is it's slightly different logic, but what's the fact about the intestines? Where if you unravel the intestines. Now, what is the truth behind that, Ellie? Because you know the whole thing about if you unravelled the small intestine or something, it would like wrap around the world or something. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I don't think that's true.
Well, let's look.
If you stretch out all of the human's blood vessels, they'd be about 60,000 miles long, which is enough to go around the world twice.
Crazy. Well, many people will be shouting at their podcast player now. Their podcast player. As if people have a dedicated podcast player. They'll be shouting at their phones or computers. We didn't want to hear about blood vessels.
No.
We want to hear about penises. So, Ellie, what have you got for us?
Well, this is a bit of a fact that was discovered in 2013. And when this penis fact was discovered, the anatomologist who discovered it said, it's really weird. Really, really weird. So,
now that, Ellie, is how you do it.
Thanks, mate.
Because that, now people are going, what's really weird? And if you'd just done the fact, so that's great.
Yeah.
That's built suspense.
So, a lady called Diane Kelly, who works at the University of Massachusetts, was working on a freshly dead male alligator, and she was cutting it up to see how it works. As she touched the pelvic nerve with her scalpel, the alligator's penis, which is 10 centimetres long, ghostly white, flips out in an instant and then hangs there for a second, and then it twanged back just
Wow.
inside. The penis of the American alligator is made of tough, fibrous tissue, constantly fully erect inside the reproductive tract, and it's ejected from the body when it is needed for mating. The only animal that we know of that is constantly erect. The penis is ejected with a specific set of muscles and retracted when the animal relaxes those muscles with the help of rubber band tendons at its base. And it is also apparently filled with a form of silicon, which is why it's constantly erect.
Wow.
So that's an alligator penis for you.
Belly Skinner's Weekly Animal Penis Fact. Cassette Roulette. We're back to Cassette Roulette. We obviously can't ride on the coattails of Pussycat forever. We need to move on. We're artists.
Yeah.
But we also, we're now aware, there's pressure now because people are expecting a follow-up single. It's the difficult follow-up single. What are they going to do next after Pussycat? And let's just see what the mood is like, what morale is like as we go into trying to write this next song. So what we're going to hear is we're going to hear the beginning stages. And I think already you can hear one thing that we're trying to do is we're trying to stick to very much the theme. Maybe that's a mistake.
Right, we're talking a lot now, what would it be in? Walking on my road, I saw a big toad.
So we're trying to go for toads here. I'm obviously going, no, animals. It did as well before. It's going to set as well this time. Maybe that's a mistake, I don't know.
I know. No, listen to this. Right, you go.
Okay, so you can hear I'm pretty pleased with myself here, so this is going to be a good idea, Ellie.
Yeah.
I was walking down my road when I saw a big toad. It went, what a toad, them, croak, croak, croak. You know what I mean, right?
You know what I mean?
You know what I mean? Are you getting this? You know what I mean. Oh, brilliant. And I like the fact that I'm so pleased with myself. Listen to this. I was walking down the road when I saw a big toad. It went... What do toads do again? Oh, croak, croak, croak. You know what I mean? Yeah?
It went, what a toad, them, croak, croak, croak. You know what I mean, right? And then you go, I was going for a jog when I saw a big frog. It went rabbit, rabbit, rabbit.
I mean, surely it would go ribbit, not rabbit.
When I saw a big frog, it went rabbit, rabbit, rabbit. I don't know. Oh, all the animals, work with the animals, work with the animals. What do we do?
I like the fact I've gone from like really, listen to this, I got an idea. And then I just go, what are we doing?
The animals, work with the animals. What do we do? Oh, it's a cool idea though. Aye.
It's a cool idea. I think we abandoned that idea, but we'll find out what happens because that's just the beginning. And obviously, you know, ideas have just been floated around at this moment. So there is more to come and we'll find out what happens as we proceed with Cassette Roulette. I got a little notification on my phone, Ellie, that says there's an update available. Do you want to update now or later? If I click now, it'll make me type my passcode. If I click later, it'll make me add my passcode. So if I click later tonight, it'll make me add my passcode. But what I don't understand about this is I've only just unlocked my phone with my passcode. So why does it need that extra level of security? Do you know what I mean? Because all I'm doing is updating my phone. It's not surely the kind of thing that someone would do if someone had left their phone on the table, you would never go, oh, they've left the phone unlocked. What's this? Do you want to update your phone? The phone thinks it's Nigel. Doesn't realise it's me. Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. This is a little bit of a wind-up, bit of a prank. I'm going to update his phone, and I'm going to tell it to update tonight. So when he wakes up in the morning, little will he know that his phone will not be iOS 14.31. It'll be iOS 14.32 with a couple of minor bug fixes and security fixes. And he won't have a clue. He'll turn up for work and I'll say, what operating system do you think you're using, Nigel? Have you noticed anything different about your phone? And he'll be like, no, I've not. I bet you think you're on iOS 13.1, dear. He's like, well, to be honest, I have no idea. Well, I think you'll find you're on 13.12, Nigel. And he's like, what were you on about? I didn't even know it was on 13.1. He's like, something's a little bit different about your phone. I updated it when you weren't looking. They were on the toilet. I've only updated your phone, mate. So now those minor bug fixes are sorted out. You should see the look on your face. You know, I don't quite understand why you need to type your passcode in again. Anyway, that was just a little thought that I had. Cassette roulette! So, we had an idea for a second single, but it seemed to not really be going anywhere. We're back to the drawing board again, but there is a problem. Tensions. I think this with the podcast. Each podcast, you're like, I can't believe I've got to do this again. How am I going to follow this up? How am I going to do? But when you're 15, it's a turbulent time.
Yeah.
And we're trying to make music here, and we're trying to make something as good. So I think this maybe explains why Matthew is getting a little bit grouchy now, why morale is slightly low, as you're about to hear.
Oh, not writing. Oh, come on. How are you going to remember if you don't write? I don't know. I'm going to get a piece pen. No, I don't even want to. Yeah, you do. Right.
So as you can hear, he's down in the dumps here. He doesn't want to write. And I understand that. He's afraid of putting something in the paper and having to look at it and go, what a risible load of nonsense I've created here. You know, this is never going to live up to Pussycat. Fortunately, I do manage to corral him.
Right then. Remember them just working out first then.
Right, think of something then.
Right, I've worked out. It's A minor.
Walking,
And G.
talking.
Walking, talking. It's going well.
Let's see how we go. Right. Walking, talking. Let's see what we've got.
Oh, that's...
Well, what we do?
C minor, is it an object?
So now we're desperate here. Matthew is now saying, come on, just think of an object.
Statue.
Statue, I say. No, says Matthew.
Oh, we can do it like... So we can worship this weird god.
So now I've had this brainwave. It could be about a god. We could worship this weird god. We'll find out. Do we go for that? Do we go for something else?
Oh.
My goodness. Has the creative muse struck, or is that another idea that's not going to see the light of day? We'll find out in the next part of Cassette Roulette.
I like how you are trying to sort of encourage him along just by sort of shouting things at him. Statue! Write it down or you'll never remember. Come on, walk in!
Now I've got to think of a rhyme for
Talking.
statue. I love the fact that I'm just like, walking, talking. And I'm like, right, here we go. Walking, talking. Just, oh, we got it.
We've hit gold here.
Spell time. Okay, so... This is a strange one.
Okay.
Hey, my name's Eric, and for just a second, imagine this. Someone does a search and winds up at davideagle.co.uk. They hang out for a minute to check it out. I'm interested. But maybe... And then they hit the back button and check out another search result instead. Bottom line, you got an eyeball, but nothing else to show for it. There they go. This isn't really your fault. It happens a lot. Studies show that 7 out of 10 visitors to any site disappear without leaving a trace. But you can fix that. Talk with Web Visitor is a software widget, works on your site, ready to capture any visitor's name, email address, and phone number. It lets you know right then and there, enabling you to call the person while they're literally looking over your site.
That's pretty creepy,
That's
mate.
so terrifying,
I don't
isn't
think
it?
I'd want that.
How does the number come up? That sounds that's illegal.
Yeah.
But imagine that if someone was on my website and I just go, hello mate, you're looking for an animal penis fact? If you want to hear my fiancé, don't leave. My fiancé's got some animal penis facts for you if you want. Time is money when it comes to connecting to leads. Well, try telling that to the people behind HS2. Time is money when it comes to connecting with leads. The difference between contacting someone within 5 minutes versus 30 minutes can be huge. Like 100 times better? Plus, now, that doesn't sound very scientific, does it? Like 100 times better,
You
I think
sound
you'll
like
find.
Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. Scoob.
I wonder if anyone's done, like, Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. This must have been done ages ago. Doing Shaggy, as in
it wasn't me.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Or Mr. Bombastic.
Yeah.
How does Shaggy sound? Was that the... Huh? Is that Shaggy?
That's Scooby.
Oh, how does Shaggy sound then?
Hey, Scoop. I can't do it.
Is that... How does it
Do you
sound?
want me to
Find
look up
Shaggy. This must have been done.
Like, I have a plan. How about we don't open the spooky crypt? We should have stayed.
Is that how he sounds then?
This is Shaggy talking like this. I spy so to sound like that. Oh.
So now... That sounds like him! Mr. Lava, Lava! Lava! Woo! Mr. Lava, Lava! Lava! Is that... How is it? No, Mr. Lava, Lava!
Yeah.
Yes, hold on! No, sounds like Miriam Margolyes.
Call me
Mr. Bombastic! Totally fantastic! Romantic! Anyway. I don't know. Anyway, where were we?
Plus, now that you have their phone number, with our new SMS text with lead feature, you can automatically start that text conversation.
That. I love the fact it says you can automatically start that text conversation. As if this is a normal thing to do. Anyone who receives a text message is going to be absolutely freaked out.
If I went on a website and it started texting me stuff, I would never go back to that ever again.
No, exactly. This is the perfect. It says this is a perfect way to build a relationship. Then it says strong stuff. What's this? I've got a text message through. Bloody hell! It's the guy's website I was just on. He's saying, "Can I interest you in a song about sacrificing a dog for Satan?" I was listening to my fiancée talking about animal penises. He's like, "Bloody hell! I just typed blind comedian into Google. I was looking for the funny bloke who does live at the Apollo. Who the bloody hell's this? Some psychotic, satanic penis fetishist."
Penis fishes. There is a fish that swims up a penis.
Oh, I've heard. Well,
This
isn't
is like a
hang
reverse
on.
penis fact.
Isn't this like what a jellyfish does, isn't it? That's why people say about... No, it's, you wee on a jellyfish sting, is what some people say.
Yeah,
but they
no,
say
this
don't
one,
wee.
don't wee, because the fish, the kangaroo, sometimes known as the penis fish, is a small Amazonian catfish. It's reported to lodge itself in the urethra of people who may be urinating in the water. Despite the unsettling stories surrounding the fish, there's scepticism about whether it actually attacks humans.
There's only one way to find out. Wait till next week on the podcast. It's time for us to... Stop Spammer Time and restart Cassette Roulette. Cassette Roulette. Okay, Ellie. Well, actually, I said it's time for us to stop Spammer Time. It's actually, really, it's time for us to stop
Ellie Skinner's Weekly Animal Penis Fact.
and time for us to stop Spammer Time and time for us to restart Cassette Roulette. There we go. Okay, Ellie, so here we go. We are returning to our cassette. We're in the middle of writing a song, or trying to, but everything that we've tried so far is just not working. But let's, as we play our final clip of the songwriting process, let's find out what occurs next. And we've gone rather apocalyptic now.
Oh.
Birds all around us. Fire, people burning. Burning, crying. The world is ending. The world is ending. Get me in the amp. No. You got no?
Well, we're obviously having a great whale of a time doing this apocalyptic song. The world is ending. And then Matthew, he's getting inspired. Get me in the amp. Pull me in the amp. We haven't got an amp. Oh yeah.
Get me in the amp. No. You got no? Oh, accursed beast, why have you come to us? Accursed beast, why have you come to us? Why have you come to... Yeah.
I love that. If anything, I'm very encouraging of Matthew's ideas. And, he's not very encouraging at me at times. But then I like the fact that I'm doing this, oh, cursed beast, why have you come to us? My system, our system seems to be, if we've got some words, we just repeat them again. Well, that's a good one. So like with the pussycat. Pussycat, why did you do that? Pussycat, why did you do that? Pussycat, pussycat, why did you do that? You know, this one. Oh, cursed beast, why have you come? Oh, cursed beast, why have you come? Then Matthew whispers, why have you come? And I go, yeah, I like it, yeah.
Why have you come? Yeah.
You got it. I think you're on the wavelength.
You're on it now.
Savor from this world to not. Like, oh, a cursed beast. Like, a cursed beast. A cursed beast. Why do you come? Come on, then, think something. Come on, a cursed beast. Why do you come? Oh.
No! Oh no, Matthew's not having
Shut you
this.
down.
You're shutting down again. I thought we were getting somewhere.
Come on, a cursed beast. Why do you come? Oh, God. What about then?
We're getting desperate now. But then sometimes out of desperation, that's when the magic comes. Well, it certainly was the case with me and you. That's how we got together, Ali. I'm still trying to curse his beast.
When you can't think of any words to say, this is the way to get round it. La 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 la. Get round this way. La, la, la. Yes, when you can't think of any words to say, you can get the words to get round it. Yeah. La 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 la.
Unfortunately, that is where the tape cuts off. We don't get any more of the songwriting process, but don't worry, because we do get on the other side the actual version of the song, the fully created song.
No way.
Yes, it actually goes somewhere. This is the idea that we come around with. So we've been singing songs. We've had apocalyptic songs about burning people and accursed beasts, why do you come? Toads and
Statues.
frogs and statues and gods that we might worship, weird gods. But this, we've ended up writing a song about not being able to think of what to write about, and that is what has fueled us. And we're going to hear that song very soon. But first, before we hear that song, though, I would just like to thank the people who have donated to the website. I'd also like to thank Philip. And this is not regular listener Phil. This is Philip. You know, the night before I said David had donated, and I forgot to mention. Well, basically, Philip was the first person who donated, who set up a monthly donation, and then I forgot about him, and I mentioned David being the first one, and then I mentioned a Phil donating, and actually I shortened Philip's name to Phil. Now we know that actual Phil, regular listener Phil, is donating, but Philip was the original donator. So if Philip has been listening, going, you still haven't mentioned my name. What's going on?
Cancel
Philip, please don't cancel, my friend. Surely, I mean, the quality that you're getting at the moment. And thank you very much to Mark as well. Mark has donated. We've got a donation from Mark Watson.
Hey!
But not the comedian, Mark Watson. Mark Watson, the Colchester brewer.
Ooh.
And I hope, Mark, that you don't mind me mentioning your name. I figured that it would be fine because I thought it might be quite nice just to mention your brewery. So I hope this doesn't...
We're outing you as a listener to the podcast.
Yeah. But he didn't say to mention or anything like that. I just got a thing on PayPal saying Mark Watson has donated to you. And I was very excited at first. I thought, he's a fan of my work. The comedian Mark Watson. watsonbrewery.co.uk. He says, I'm a one-man, small-scale operation... we don't need to know about that. Small-scale operation. Brewing commercially since 2016. I brew using top-quality ingredients, using gravity rather than pumps. Don't use finings, he says. What is a fining?
I don't know.
He doesn't use them. Don't use
need 'em.
finings.
Doesn't need him.
I don't know what a fining is. You might say finnings. No, it wouldn't be finnings. It'd be finings. What is a fining?
Do I need to look this
I
up?
think you need to look it up. I'm sure you're glad we've done this, Mark.
Substances usually added at or near the completion of the brewing of wine, beer, and non-alcoholic juice.
It's probably like to
beverages.
give it a certain texture, to thicken it or something like that, maybe.
They
or
remove
thin it.
organic compounds to improve clarity or adjust flavour.
Okay, well, he doesn't use them. So
Because he's using gravity, so it's fine.
No, he says he's using gravity rather than pumps.
Oh, right, yes.
Then he says
okay.
don't use finings.
No.
But I'm sure the flavour is brilliant nonetheless. He's obviously got his reelings. I don't use finings. I want the
need
flavour not to be as good. No, I'm sure that's not the case. I'm glad we're doing this for you, Mark. He doesn't use finings and have been producing vegan-friendly beers for a couple of years now. No more lactose or honey going forward. I gave my beers time to mature before being made available. Well, we do that with a podcast, and it's one of the reasons why we only do a podcast every fortnight, Mark, now, is because we realised it needs maturity time.
Yeah, no lactose going into it either.
Well, sometimes what we do tend to milk it, though. But we record the podcast, we're ahead of our time. We leave it a week to mature, and then the audiences, after a week, we find that the audience is ready to receive it. If we release it too early, the audience is like, I don't understand what this is, it's too radical.
No.
Anyway, I suppose I could call them artisanal beers.
Artisanal.
Oh, yes. But I suppose I could call them artisanal. But it would be silly. It would be silly. But I also suppose I could call them artisanal beers. But I don't. Oh, I like that. And that, I'd like to think Mark got that joke after maybe listening to an episode of the podcast, and he thought, I feel inspired. I'm going to try a little joke of my own. And well done, Mark. Absolutely brilliant. And I think you agree. I delivered it absolutely brilliantly.
It was almost like a mercenary minute, David Eagle.
On our Young'uns TV show that we did, we had a feature called Mercenary Minute where people paid £50 for us to do a little advert for them. I'm now doing it. I mean, Mark, we're very appreciative of the money that you're giving us, but he did donate £5, and I appear to now be doing a Mercenary Minute. So, and he didn't even ask for one.
Maybe he'll send you some beer.
We charged. Well, this is the thing. He's not shipping anywhere other than Colchester. So actually, he does say that. It's an absolute pointless advert. If there's anyone from Colchester listening
or very
who drinks
close,
beer,
who could drive over to Colchester.
Oh, now actually he's explained. You know when we were on about the finings?
Yeah.
He's explained this.
Oh, good.
When flavours are needed, it is from fresh ingredients rather than extract. I've used vanilla pods, freshly ground coffee beans, cocoa beans, fresh mango, fresh ginger, coconut flakes, licorice root, local honey from local farms, and rhubarb from next door's garden. That's what he's using in his brews.
That sounds lovely.
I wonder if he could brew a herbal tea beer.
Yeah.
That'd be good. Some of the names of his beer, we've got Black Otter and Fearsome Kitty. Coincidentally, Mark, Fearsome Kitty is what I call Ellie. I like the idea of maybe a David Eagle podcast-themed beer, Mark. I don't know what it would be. Some of the things we talk about. Maybe not an animal penis flavoured.
Might be a lot gassy.
Yes, very good.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've got some reviews here of Mark. Sweet, thick stout. This is not of Mark. Sweet. This is of his beer, obviously. Sweet, thick stout. I mean, that might be a review of Mark.
He's going to be withdrawing that money. He's going to claim it back soon, David.
Sweet, thick stout. That's a review there, not of Mark, but of his beer. What's on brewery.co.uk. There you go. I mean, Mercenary Minute was £50, and it lasted for about a minute. That's gone on for nearly 5, if not over 5 minutes. That's £1 a minute there. And I'm not asking for more, Mark.
And it's only to any listeners near Colchester.
The fact that I'm saying I'm not asking for more is if he's ever going to think, that deserves a bit more, David.
Fair enough.
I will now close this down.
That's a nice little noise.
That's the sound of the Braille machine closing now because I got to the end of my notes. Oh. I'm now going freestyle, listeners. Cassette Roulette. It's time to head back now to Cassette Roulette for the final time. So you remember we heard this at the beginnings of this song that I'm creating with my friend Matthew at the age of 15. After a lot of deliberation or after a lot of different ideas, he was strumming the chords and I was just singing, when you can't think of any words, you can get around it this way. La, 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 la. That inspired us. A song began to be born. And now I can reveal the finished product. Here we go.
When you can't think of any words to say, you can get around it this way. La 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 la. When you're strumming your guitar, you can sing along with la 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 la. When you can't think of any words to your song, you can sing along with pom 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 pom. Strum your guitar with your thumb. Sing along. Bum bum bum. Bum 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 bum. People often laugh at our song. They say that they will jump off our tongue. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. La 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 la. La 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 la.
So there we are.
Wow.
There we are, Lee. That is the
It went dark in the middle there.
dark. Oh,
People are going to cut off our tongue.
People often laugh about our songs. They say that they will chop off our tongue. Well, it's light and shade.
Yeah.
It's light and shade, Ellie. So there we go.
I like the production values. What did you like? What were you using to record all that on? Were you playing like a bit of keyboard because there was an
We had some
interesting
keyboard. We had
Yeah?
some no amp, of course.
No amp.
Yeah, just acoustic guitar. There's a tambourine. You could say I had a guitar, tambourine, and keyboard.
Did you put any treatment on your vocals? Or
Oh, I
something?
think so. Yeah, we doubled things up and that kind of thing.
Very good.
A lot of people were. I remember our fan base said. I remember they said, "Keep it acoustic, lads. Keep it." But we said, "Look, we've got technology at our disposal. We want to." In fact, one of the reasons we didn't have an amp was because one of our fans
Stole it.
He crept into the studio and stole it, and it was a scandal in the fan base. But many people said, "Yeah, we agree." And there was other people saying, "No, let them express themselves in the way that they want. Don't try and." So we want their were there amps in Pussycat? They said, you know, and people said, "No, they weren't." But that doesn't mean they shouldn't be amps in the next song. And people, there was fights about it. Anyway.
I think you can tell we've gone off the notes.
I do remember, and it'll be on another tape somewhere, because we did perform that song on BBC Radio Cleveland.
Oh, amazing.
So that'll be on one of the tapes, so maybe that'll pop up on a cassette at some point. Maybe we could reform. And we could go to the brewery, What's on the Brewery in Colchester, and we could do a special gig there. If you fancy that, Matthew. I'll do some of my hits, of course. My Penis. I mean, our fan base back then would be livid if they'd have heard things like My Penis,
Yeah.
with all the samples and stuff like that. But
And I'll just do Spit in Your Face.
exactly. Oh, that's how we should end this week's podcast, with Ellie
Me
Skinner's...
spitting in your face.
with Ellie Skinner's little rap one more time. We'll fade out with that. Thank you to everyone who has donated. It's not something, well, it is something we're asking for now by accident because people keep doing it, but I'm just trying to
If
thank
you
people.
want to, that's great.
Yeah,
but it's
but-
fine not to.
No, feel free just to send me clips of other comedians doing Live at the Apollo instead.
What I do like is every time he is on TV, my sister texts me going, "He's taken David's spot again," as if it's guaranteed to be yours.
And also as if there's
Just
only
mix it.
room for one blind comedian.
Well, that's how it works, isn't it?
Anyway, if you want to come and see me do gigs, then davideagle.co.uk is a good place to go, or theyoung'uns.co.uk, because we have I have a mix of comedy gigs and young'uns gigs coming up over December.
And if you want to see me, well, tough, because I have a regular job.
I was trying to think of a ridiculous job that you would have.
Oh.
I was going to say, they come and see you at the brothel, but... You remind me of a dead alligator. Okay, thank you very much for listening. From me, David Eagle.
And me, Ellie Skinner.
Goodbye!
It's a new era, baby. It's your boy Westwood. We're doing up real right tonight. Pay attention to this record. It's going to be
I'm
important.
going to wait outside for you. Spit in your face. Spit in your face. Spit in your face. I'm going to wait outside for you. Spit in your face.
Damn, that's the way it goes down.